mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Appreciate your patience this morning as some things in the studio had to get figured out as we continue to grow and expand here on Facebook Live, and definitely learning Facebook Live every time they update it, which is all the time. So, but I'm happy to be here with you and speaking with you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I know that it'll be good. I know that we always find a positive here, and we will find the positive with all of the things we could do here with the show. So thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and welcome to the broadcast inside the Cafe Kubal studios here on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening live to internet streaming radio all throughout the world, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com, where you're listening as well. And of course, here on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcall-dt. We're now on the page for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, so you're getting us here, which is great, and I'm very excited about that you're getting us on our actual page today, which is Wake Up Call DT. So that's Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, and we can share it to the page you typically get it, which is facebook.com/live-now-dt. So you'll be able to see the video on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt now, as well as on facebook.com/live-now-dt. So that'll be something cool to get it in both places. But we're happy to have you here, happy to be hanging out with you inside the Cafe Kubal studios. A Cafe Kubal with locations all throughout central and upstate New York. You can get to Cafe Kubal by going to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, where Kubal Co-works is also. And you can also get us to, you can also find them at 401 South Salina Street, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, and of course out in Manlius on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So however you get out to Cafe Kubal, make sure you do that today and support your local today. It's imperative that we do that, and we support these beautiful companies that help to support us and show us, all these great things that they can bring to the community. They go so far beyond just being a coffee place. They do so much for our community. They reach out and they help in any way they can, and they have been fantastic during this pandemic. So I want to just shout out Cafe Kubal and thank them for all the incredible work that they have done to show how much they love this community and want to be here in this community, supporting this community. So much love to each and every single one of the tremendous people that are working at Cafe Kubal. I appreciate you so very much. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I'm very excited to bring you an all-new segment called Check Down. And if you know in football what a check down is, when a quarterback drops back and they survey the field and there's not a lot going on and they can't get their first read or their second or their third, they dump the ball off to typically a running back or a tight end in an emergency situation, and that is called the check down. Well, Prince-Tyson Gulley made his hay in college football with the check down, and he has the opportunity to check down with us here on the show. So somebody who knows all about the check down on the field and also about the check down off the field, and what I mean by that is being able to ad-lib through life. Prince is going to be joining me, Syracuse Orange football alum, for a weekly segment every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time called Check Down. And this segment is about to come to you live for the first time ever. You can see inside of monpauspopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Our little guy there, that's Prince running the ball there. My little guy, my little Prince. So Check Down is about to come to you in just a second. And of course, every Wednesday in hour number 2, we'll do the Fantasy Football Power Hour. This week we'll be talking about fantasy running backs from around the country with Mr. Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com. So plenty coming up for you today, and we are about to unveil for the first time ever Check Down with DT and PTG. We'll get into exactly more of what that means when Prince joins us live right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome here to an all-new portion of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which is called Check Down. And when you know about check downs inside of the beautiful world of football, you know that this man, PTG, made a lot of hay in the check down world. Prince-Tyson Gulley, Syracuse Orange running back alum. He is no stranger to the broadcast. We have spent a lot of time together throughout his entire time at Syracuse, as well as all the way into everything he's done through these last few years on his journey to be where we are today. He'll be joining me for a segment that you'll get used to seeing here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Wednesdays between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, called Check Down. And so check down, essentially what that means in the world of football, quarterback making their reads, and they have typically the running back there for that check down, that emergency pass that they can send off or pitch or whatever it may be. Well, here in Check Down, we are here for you to survey the field of life through sports and life, and to make that check down, make that read, and to share different things with you that we're seeing as we look around the world. So, Prince, you're nodding your head here. Does that make sense to you? Is that a good way to introduce Check Down?
That was amazing. I love how you put all of it together. That was perfect.
So we got Prince here. Normally I got the Tony Stark Iron Man-esque goatee. I got too much beard going on now, but you got the beard that connects to the dreads, and it's all coming together, man. You look clean today.
I appreciate it, man. It's my mane, man. It's the lion's mane. I keep it on me and try to keep it fresh as possible.
Yeah, you do. And so here in this initial segment, Check Down, bringing it to the world, you and I have talked on the show plenty of times, but what are you hoping to achieve with Check Down?
Honestly, like how you said, we're just really getting to talk about the correlation between sports and life. I think we can play on that a lot. While, like you said, just correlating everything back to the game. I think game of inches, you can speak in so many different metaphors and similes. And like I said, it all applies to life. So I think this would be a good thing.
Yeah, and having this opportunity to check down. Going back to your playing days, that, as I said, is where you had a lot of success. Is Mr. NASA being able to check down and finding you out there. Bring me into that world of being an emergency person for somebody to lean on the football field, and then to bring it to life as well, to be somebody that people can lean on when they need help.
It's a great thing, especially like within the sport. And how I'm looking at it is like, yes, we are the emergency. Because when I first got into college and I started learning more, because I came just raw, so I didn't even understand what a check down meant. And as I got to play the game and I seen how quarterbacks, there's a number of reads. Usually the check down is the last read. So like how you said, it is the emergency. It is to get, the bailout, and it is great that we are, as running backs, that's what we are for the team. And like I said, you can just correlate that to even like just being the last person to be around anything, being that last guy to depend on, checking down. That's how you can see it. So, yeah.
By definition from Merriam-Webster, it says a check down is a short pass play to a running back or tight end that the quarterback chooses after reading the defensive coverage and seeing no play downfield. In life, how many times have we tried to create a plan as a quarterback of our life and drop back and surveyed the field, and we saw a bunch of different things that we wanted to work out, and we didn't know what to do? Let's speak on that a little bit.
Exactly. So we have all these plans in our mind. We have the design play. We know what the first read is, but it doesn't always go like that. The defense doesn't make mistakes all the time either. They can play it well, just like life will play itself for you. So being that it's the last read, you just putting in all into just the last read and being that dependable person. And that's what the check down is. Like I said, that's what the check down is going to come down to. It's a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. Just being the last defender, and now it's a beautiful thing.
Having in life, knowing that, when I was growing up as a kid, I got really upset at a statement that people used to always say to me, which was, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And I look at these situations, and and the reality of it all. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I couldn't stand hearing that as a kid. It made me really upset. I thought I knew my plans better than God. I thought that whatever I told God that he needed to do. And now as an adult, and now at 35 years old, when somebody talks to me about this didn't go right, this girl didn't do this job didn't happen, I'm not living here, I don't have this money, I would say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You need to be willing to ad lib. Speak with me on that. Did you hear that as a kid and get frustrated, and now you get it better? Did you always? Because I went from, if one more person says this to me, I'm gonna run through a wall. And now I look at it like, yeah, you know what? It is true. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your first read. He ain't gonna give it to you more often than not.
I do, and I agree with you. It happen to be you have to learn how to ad lib. But the thing is I did know of that saying, but those sayings are one of those things that you truly don't know until it actually happens to you, And I think that's what, like I said, that's why it's even a saying in itself, because you don't necessarily, you have in your mind what you want to do in your life. But like I said, everything doesn't always come down to that. So you have to be able to, dodge and get right back on track. And like you said, I didn't like hearing it all at all either. But one thing you will find out is that every time you do hear, situation presents itself, and it humbles you to remember that, to just like, listen, like, let God just take control, because if you think that you're in control, you're the one that's being laughed at. So yeah, like I totally understand what you mean on that.
In what part of your life, where can you say that you knew, like, for sure that you had a plan and God was like, nah, I got something else for you? Like, when did God tell you to check down?
He's telling me to check down right now. he is telling me to check down right now because essentially I, of course, thought I was, I had NFL dreams. I had things that I wanted to do, just like any NFL person, you get in the NFL, you start working and doing foundations and stuff like I had plans. But I think that, like I said, life will give you its test. God will give you the test. And he was just like, yeah, I understand where your heart is, but I have something better for you. But you have to earn that, and in my mind, I couldn't take that. I couldn't understand that. Like, why am I not? I still think I'm probably better than half of the running backs playing to this day. That's just me. I feel that way, but maybe that wasn't the calling in itself. Maybe I got exactly what I needed out of the position, and then be able to talk to people. And now I'm looking at things that just being thinking about the things that I didn't have going into those situations. First, I am the first one in my family to go to D1 college, play football. There's a lot of things when you get into that world that you don't know about, that you've never seen, that you've never heard. And then my mother and my father and people I had around me, they've never heard before. Maybe the calling is to be a person in between that, because I'm not the only one that's happened to. It's going to continue to happen because a lot of people just haven't been there. Just that I think God probably is calling me to be more of an advocate for people to understand. All right, listen, like my junior year, if we really getting real, my junior year, right after that Pinstripe Bowl, if I have something that understands business, that understands the game, they tell me, hey, listen, you out of wave right now. You just had a great game. You need to come out. You need to go into the NFL, because what they don't tell you is that you can always come back and get your scholarship and finish, So it's just things like that, things that you need to learn through the process. I think that's what God's calling me to do somehow, some way. But he's definitely giving me a hint towards, hey, listen, you didn't go that far, but you can still be a blessing to other people within the sport, and even though you're no longer playing. So that's how I'm seeing it. And that's what I believe God has put in my position, or at least in my vision. So
bringing a new segment to you called Check Down here exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios with Prince-Tyson Gulley, Syracuse Orange running back alum, and somebody that I appreciate as a good friend of mine here over the years. Prince, so many players in college, whatever, college football, basketball, lacrosse, anything, soccer, want to obviously go to the next level, and they want to have that. Going through this process, what did it teach you? Because you are talented, because you have done a lot of great things. You and Jerome are the last time that this team in the backfield really put together numbers that were substantial. So to not be in the NFL right now, what can you say to people out there? Because we live in a world where I think a lot of athletes playing in college at the D1 level think, I'm going to the NFL. We're all going to the NFL. There's this many spots. There's this many of us, but I'm going to the NFL. How did you go through the process? What can you say about the process? Because I know there's people watching this and that will watch this and listen to this that think like, okay, you know what? I'm at McNessie State. I'm at Buffalo, I'm at Alabama, I'm at Florida, I'm at Syracuse, I'm at Montana, but I'm a good running back. I'm going to make it.
Honestly, it's really just reality how you see it. Like when you said it, it is a number game. And honestly, in Syracuse, they bring people in and tell us all about things like that. This is how many people made it to here. All right, but when the number gets slimmer and slimmer, but as a player, you don't want to hear that. You don't think that that's you. It was like, I'm not that percentage that's not going to be in there. I am the one that's going to be in there. That's the mindset. Who's not thinking that on the field? You shouldn't be playing if you're not thinking that. You know what I'm saying? So, but when it doesn't happen, I just want to tell people, like, it's not the end of the world, because there's so many outlets. And I honestly was the one kind of pushing back all the outlets because I couldn't see the beauty in it. I tried coaching, I do the sports training and stuff, but all my life I've been a player. I want to play. I like to do. I barely watch football on TV. I actually watch more basketball than I watch football, which when I tell people, they be like, wow, I would never think that. I was like, I do, because I like to play football. So the thing is, when you go after college, and even while you're in college, I know you hear this all the time. You're going to hear this. You have to prepare yourself. You have to set yourself up. Now, I do believe that I prepared myself and set myself up, but when I got into the outs, like after football, I didn't feel like that's exactly what I still wanted to do. So I would just try to say for people after football, and if it doesn't work for you, really just stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are and do exactly what you want to do. Try to find it. It may not make money right away, but it's your passion, it's your love, and eventually it will, because passion and love, when people see that in whatever you put it in, you will see the fruits of your labor. You will. And I'm going to say that, effort doesn't guarantee anything, but at the same time, you will begin. And I'm speaking this into you. I watched you, starting from where you started, and building up, and you stayed true all the way, and you're still doing it. And still, the sky's the limit. That's what people got to see it. But you don't see that coming out of it, because I'm a football player. No. First of all, you're a human being. You're much more. You're much more than just that title. You can't put yourself in a box, and don't let anybody else do it for you. So that's what I would say.
And I think that that's so great, because, life as a football player, ironically, and, with so much truth, you are a check down, because so many football players in college have to check down. Their first read is the NFL. Their second read is the CFL. Their third read might be, the XFL. But that check down is going to be, maybe I'm a doctor, maybe I'm a lawyer, maybe I'm a teacher, maybe I'm a coach, maybe I'm a trainer. So, what has your check down been after football? When your first read might have been the NFL, what is the check down for Prince-Tyson Gulley?
Hey, listen, you just gave the whole spiel. That is exactly what it was. Your first read is the NFL, then I look towards the CFL. But my check down truly has been training and within the youth area. So that's what I've been doing. Like age ranges from 8 to 18. Those are the people that I've been training. That was my check down, because it's always going to be there. They know my name from football. They know that I'm going to teach them how to do things that I've learned how to do with what I learned in college and in the pros for the stint that I was there. So my check down turned into training and coaching, teaching. That's the check down, because all of what I've learned, I have to pass it. I can't just hold it in. So yeah, that's exactly what my check down is.
And that's the beauty of it, is you have the opportunity to help the youth of today, as so many football players have made the decision to do, that I know. And what has that done for you? How has that provided? We both believe in God. We both have a faith. So how does that bear fruit in your life to help other people?
It just makes me feel real good, like, because I remember growing up how much I cared for the sport, or any sport that I was doing, and just to be around young people who really care. It's a lot going on right now. At least within my city, it's not as big. Akron used to be a very talented football area, which it still is. We got a lot of schools that do it, but I'm talking about specifically within the city schools. We have really a lot of talent. And just to see, there's still kids out here that care about, still watching Barry Sanders and still trying to learn the game. I really love it. And just to be able to have something to do with that, it does make me feel good, because it feels like that's a duty for me. I honestly feel like that. I feel like I'm sure a lot of people don't feel like that, but I feel like it was literally my duty. If I didn't do anything else, I had to at least come back to my city and show people what I've learned, or tell people I've learned. No matter how long I'm here, or how long I've been here, or how long the sessions are that I've been with you, I have to come drop something on them, give them some type of juice, because you can do it. That's what really, that's what it means a lot to me. That's what it is. It really means a lot to me. I've done this in Syracuse community as well. It's always meant a lot to me, because when you see someone doing something that you're doing at a younger age, like I said, it gives you a whole new look at the game, a life of the game, because it's more about fundamentals than anything. They see the glitz and the glamour of everything. People want to dance in the end zone and this and that, but the real true game is through the fundamentals, and just to be able to share that, though, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And that's the thing. You talk about like the fundamentals of it all and breaking it down. Where does the passion for football still live with you? Why continue to help other people? Why stay connected to the game? Some people do. Some people, you leave it. Why are you still connected?
Honestly, because I found a new respect for the game, and I definitely have to pass it down. And I have to show people that there's a way, to approach this game. I have to show them the young people there's a way to approach this game. I didn't know that coming in. I've always been the top dog within my football era. So it was just like, oh, I go out the night before or whatever it is. I show up on game day and I'm that guy, and what you surely start to learn is that you got to treat the game a little different the further you get up, and it didn't dawn on me until I didn't have it no more. I want to stop that process from people from the younger age. I want to stop that. You got to know going in like this, there's things that you have to do. This is how you have to do it, if this is what you truly want. And honestly, rest in peace, Floyd Little, he told me that. He specifically told me, he's like, there's some things that you got to cut out if this is what you really want to do. I have to pass that. I have to pass that down, because there was nothing further from the truth. And there was something, I've really heard the same thing from a lot of people. The same thing. It's universal. Everything they're telling me. So I just want to make sure they know, and don't be able to say that nobody didn't tell you. Coming up at that age, I didn't get to really truly hear it until I was in college, and then changed how I approach the game. But yeah,
what did Floyd tell you to get rid of?
Social life. He's like, if you really want to, he's like, you really can't. It really is no balance between wanting to be, you either want to be you want to be a great football player, excel in what you need to do, or you want to try to be like do both of them and be mediocre, and that's what it was. I watched people do it too. I've watched people. And the thing is, I think the toughest thing that I've ever really dealt with when it comes to the sport is that I really truly never got to show people how good I really am. So I really never talk as much as I really want to, because I never really got to show as good. Like the Pinstripe Bowl game, that's who I am. Really and truly. Like I said, the approaches to the game, some games here, some games there, mediocre. The Pinstripe Bowl is who I am. And that right there was just like, it was crazy. Like I said, Floyd told me you need to eliminate social life. You need to really put all your energy into what you do, what you're doing. And then the fruits of your labors will be able to present anything else that you want. Like I said, it didn't dawn into me until I had the game, till the game was over. Because even when Floyd told me that, I was just like, okay, that's, he's an OG. He been here. He's done that before. But my mentality and how I was not humble, thinking I could just fly through and do whatever I do. My whole career is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I know. When they speak about me, they're gonna say, yeah, he had great games. But his career was up, down, injury, up, down, injury. and a lot to do it because of just the focus, like I said, and just going back to this is where I want to stop that. It's just, you got to remember, if this is really what you want to do, you got to treat it like that. You got to treat it like something that you want to do like all your life and that you want to be great at. Like, and it's a few greats. It's only a few greats. I mean, a lot of Hall of Famers, and they're all great. They'll tell you the same thing. What did I have to sacrifice? And then they'll give you their spiel of what they had to sacrifice to get to where they're at. So
that coming from Prince-Tyson Gulley here, and a new segment on Wake Up Call exclusively called Check Down. It's inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Prince, why did we see your best in that Pinstripe Bowl game? What finally came together for you that we finally saw what you are in that game?
Okay, so freshman year, remember DeLon Carter got hurt while we went to West Virginia. We went down there, we beat him. I was third string at that time. I got a little tick, felt great. It was a great situation. Second year, my sophomore year, I get hurt. West Virginia comes to Carrier Dome. We beat them there, but I'm not playing in the game against them. They got all the stars. It's Geno Smith. It's Bertha Hargan. Not Bertha Hargan, excuse me, Tavon Austin. They got the big stars. Like, so this is a big game. Stedman Bailey, all of them. It was a lot of greats in those games. And the year that we played them in the Pinstripe game, they still had all of those guys. We're going against top-notch talent. I've never locked in so much in the preparation of like 2 to 3 weeks for that game. I locked in so much. Like, I was just like, all right, I really just I don't even want to talk to nobody. I don't want to, I'll talk about it's crazy because you should be hydrating every day, but usually hydration day starts like 2 or 3 days before the game. I went 3 weeks, 2 weeks straight hydration. I make sure I'm purely hydrated every game, whether it's water, Pedialyte. I was so serious. I was locked in, and I was just like, you know what? This is going to be my game. I'm going to make sure I'm going to contribute to this game somehow, some way to make sure that we come down with this victory. Like, my thoughts were so crazy. Even when we were in the hole, like when we were eating dinner and stuff like that, my mind was just like, all right, eating in portions and stuff like this. Everything I thought about was exactly how I'm gonna do it. And I told Jerome right before we went out there, I was like, I'm about to kill these boys. I'm serious. And he said, all right, let's do it. Lo and behold, man, it was just a great day. It was the perfect situation. We're snowing. We running the ball today. So it played right into it, and I was prepared for it. Preparation. I prepared. I was ready, and it was just I every game I had that mindset, but the magnitude of what this was, just the people that we were playing, the bowl game, and all at once, I wanted to shine hard. Like, I wanted to shine so hard. And honestly, like I said, I think I've said this in multiple interviews, if I would have carried that same energy just through any and everything else, yeah, we're talking to a different. I'm in a different situation now. Who knows? I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. Life happens. I'm good with it. I've owned it and accepted it. I'm ready. I've been moved forward. And like I said, I'm going to continue to help however I can. I just got a couple of coaching jobs presented to me. I'm considering. But however, like I said, I feel like it's just owe it to people who really care for the sport, because I want to grow the sport and I want to make sure people are protected through the sport. There's a way to do things through the sport. And as you get up in the game, you'll understand that, it ain't even about how tough you is. And that's another thing that I learned. I was trying to be so tough on the field that you end up hurting yourself. It's really about being smart. This is just little intent, like little things that people don't tell you inside the game that, like I said, I have to share. I owe it to people, because I don't want people to go through what I went through as far as injuries after the sport. So it's a lot, man.
It's a lot of stuff to unpack. It's a lot of surveying of your field and checking down your life. So it fits everything that we're talking about why it's called Check Down and what we're doing here with Prince-Tyson Gulley. Lot of great stuff here in this conversation. I want to give a shout out to you and my other guy, Mr. Jerome Smith. The last time Syracuse had a 1,000-yard all-purpose back was back in 2012. They didn't have one, they had two. They had you and him. He had 1,171 yards rushing. You had 830 yards rushing, but you added 282 yards receiving, which not only gave Syracuse 2,000-yard backs that year, it gave Syracuse two 1,100-yard backs that year to go one step further. It's 2021. We're stepping into a season that is now almost a decade after you guys did it. What are your thoughts on the fact that you and Jerome are the last time Syracuse ever saw a 1,000-yard back, and you both got to eat that year because you both went after the hay and you both knew it wasn't in the barn, to quote Jerome. So just what you could say about that.
Honestly, I mean, it's a great thing that we, as far as the success that we had, it's amazing. I love it. Honestly, I won't say that I'm too happy about it because honestly, I have blood I bled blood through Orange. So I would love to see, running backs taking over that throne and just pushing that back out and making it because that's what Syracuse is about. Far as I've known since I've did my research on it, we're running the ball. The running backs really set the tone and to help everything else when it comes to the offense. But I listen. It was a great time. It was a great year. That was a year that we all bought in. We all bought in. We all believed in each other. We all played for one another. And just to have that, as a memory, as a stat, even 10 years from then, it's a great accomplishment. It's always something to look back on and should be able to tell your kids one day. I don't know. It's definitely great. And I'm glad I was able to do it with one of my best friends, Jerome Smith. That was still talk to him to this day, man. Nothing but love for that guy.
And that's the
my
thing.
Brother.
You and Jerome getting to do that. I mean, how incredible to get to 1,000 yards all purpose, get over 1,000 yards, be the last ones to do it at Syracuse in almost a decade, but to do it with Jerome, it's so hard for any back to get to it, let alone two backs to do it when you're sharing time. How much more incredible is that moment, knowing that you both were sharing the space and you still were able to do it?
And it's amazing because that's one thing I do credit, at least Coach Marone, Coach Hackett, Coach Wheatley for, is that they did allow us to eat. They understood what our strengths, what we were good at, where we exceeded. It was really the perfect combination, as far as him being a bigger back and me being more of a scat back, but can still do what bigger backs can do. So it was just amazing. It was a great experience. And like I said, going through that whole thing, we became a brotherhood. We were a brotherhood. So it was just to be able to do it together, and we're not looking or we're not envious of one another. We're not, jealous of oh, he getting more carries than me. Because honestly, he had more yards than me that year. He did, as far as on the ground. But I scored the more touchdowns in that year. You know what I'm saying? So it was a balance on all levels. You know what I'm saying? He was driving it down, we were getting it in there. I'm sealing the deal. We're working together wholeheartedly. We're doing it all together. So, and that's how we always looked at it. We never talked about anything oh man, he getting all of this. Why you let? We never did that with each other. We always played. We went out there and we played as hard as we can and did what we needed to do for our team first. And then from there, it was just all, if far as the running back room, we just wanted to put on for the running back room. Tyrone Wheatley calls anybody that he's coached was running back U. So
yeah,
that's what he called his people that he coached running back U. So
well, that's the thing is Syracuse should be, and I don't know. I mean, it's the easiest thing for Syracuse to sell. You want to sell a 1-10 team, and what can a positive future be? Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Floyd Little, Rob Drummond, Joe Morris, Larry Zonka, on and 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 on. And to you guys,
Walter Reyes.
yeah, Walter Reyes, what you guys did to both have over 1,000 backs, 1,000 yards all purpose with you and Jerome. There's so many things to say about RBU. I think if Syracuse was to say they're RBU right now, people would automatically give credence to it. They believe it. They get behind it, because when I talk to kids on the recruiting trail, what do they tell me? When I say, what do you know about Syracuse? Oh, I love the Ernie Davis movie, The Express. That's what everybody tells me. They know about the movie. They know something about the history. And Floyd Little helped to, grow that history and whatnot and make those connections. So to me, it's an easy sell. So Tyrone Wheatley didn't do anything wrong. He did everything right by calling it RBU, because who in their right mind is going to coach Syracuse football and not talk about it being running back university? I don't understand that. I think it's Dino Baber's easiest sell that he can do on a trail. When you're trying to sell a team that's been losing, talk about the history, talk about where they came from, and talk about trying to get back there.
And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to get back there. I'm still all orange, so I that's what I want.
We look at what you guys did. Like you said, Jerome led in the yards rushing that year, 2012, 1171. Rushing, you had 830. He had 3 touchdowns. Rushing, you had 9. How did you guys make it work? Because I think it would be great for you to tell the kids that you're training, the kids that you're looking to coach, and just people in general right now, how do you balance and not fight? How are you okay with him getting more carries? How is he okay with you getting the end zone more? How did you guys find a way to balance in a world that's all about me, not we? How did you get about the we and build that success? Because together, you guys created a backfield that Syracuse could lean on, and they leaned on it all throughout the Pinstripe Bowl and in other times. So how did you do it when so many people are concerned about their stats, their future, getting to the NFL, this, that, and the other, or whatever thing they're in life? Pilots don't want to share the plane. Lawyers don't want to share the case. How did you guys figure out a way to share the backfield?
And honestly, I think you answered it earlier, what you were saying. So when we bought in, all as a program, all as a team, we really bought in. We believed in Coach Marone. We believed in it. It was no longer about I anymore. It was all about we. I think that was the most carries I ever got in the game in that Pinstripe Bowl. But I think I was averaging like 10, 11, 12 carries a game, but they'll throw me the ball about 4 or 5 times or something. So it was just like, you're going to get your time to do exactly what you need to do. And you need to do it. You just need to make the plays. And that's another thing that I learned in college, and what I try to tell it's not about you at all. It's about we're not the only athletes on the team, running backs. We have Alec Lemon, we got Marcus Sales, we got multiple people that need the ball in their hands. So when you get the ball in your hand, you have to make something happen. That's what you're here for. And honestly, just knowing when you understand the game part, not just all right, every play I get the ball, I gotta score. You start to play the game. All right, down the distance, it's 2nd and 5 or 3rd and 5. We need to get to 5 yards. Like I think even when I was playing, I only didn't get a 3rd down. Like whether it was 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, I think I missed like 2. Just start going in and call your number. Make sure you do exactly what needs to be done. That's how the game is played when you get to a college level. When you get a team like how we had it, where we had multiple people that can contribute from a running back standpoint, wide receivers, and so on. So that's what really changed everything that we were doing. And what I would tell people, even though in the youth league, because this is what we run into in the youth league, is that, oh, my kid, he's the best. There's favoritism here, there's favoritism there. But they not showing these kids how to make this an inclusive sport, make this a team sport. Everybody wants to be that everybody wants their child to be that person, but they're not telling them the person's like, hey, listen, we ran the T formation growing up. Listen, if you don't block, you won't get the ball. So and honestly, I didn't understand that type of football until you get older. So I started in the T formation in Pee-wees, and I ended up playing in the T formation in high school. But it's one of those
selfless. You have to be. You can't be selfish in that offense. There's no offense. You have to block for them. So, like I said, I would just tell people that this game is a team sport. Wherever your son, wherever your child is playing, encourage him to contribute from the position that he is to help the team. And that's what me and Jerome was doing. There's no us fighting. We won't be able to play our game. It slows everything down. So that's what I would say.
And I think it's great to hear the success story and see the success story, because we live in a world where so many people are individualistic and they don't compromise. And I brought it up this week in the Ingredients to Success presented by Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Compromise. Not just on the football field, but in life in general, Prince. How important is it to learn how to compromise and work with somebody?
It's highly important. And I think we talked about that kind of early with how God's plan for you. You need to learn how to compromise. You got to be able to see the light in certain situations, because honestly, if you're overly prideful, you can basically take away your own blessings just from being that. So just being able to learn how to compromise and be like, okay, I'll do what I need to do in light of the bigger picture. And I think that's what the individualistic problem is. There's no bigger picture to them. It's me. There's no picture. I'm the picture. It's my picture, So there's a bigger picture for us all. We all can do at least one thing to make this world better. We all can do one thing to make the game better. It's anything. We all can do one thing to change ourselves to help out this world. It's a compromise. I'm sure it is. Maybe it's a compromise to yourself.
Yeah.
It still has to be done. It still has to be, it takes a lot of digging deep in, and it is tough for some people, but that's the nature of life.
But that's the thing. I mean, you gotta figure it out. I mean, you have to find a way to, it's even little things. You and I wanting to do this segment, you got to figure out a time. Okay, Dan, this works for me. This works for me. Okay, so where can we meet in the middle? Like, compromise happens every single day. My business does not exist without compromise. WakeUpCall does not exist without compromise. The partnerships I have don't exist without compromise. I will never, ever be a successful husband or father without compromise. I'm not a good son without compromise. I'm not a good friend without compromise. Like, going into my studio, I'm going to read this quote, because I have a quote that comes right into my studio, and it means a lot to me. So I'm gonna read it to you. It's by Christopher Marcus, and it says, "Compromise where you can. Where you can't, don't. Even if everyone is telling you that something wrong is something right, even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eye, and say, no, you move." So it says compromise where you can, and where you can't, don't. And one of the things that I hold true to that is I can compromise where I live. I can compromise the size of my studio. I can compromise, how many shirts I have in my closet. But where I don't compromise is my faith in God. I don't compromise the bonds I build. I don't compromise the people that mean the world to me. I don't compromise what keeps me healthy. I don't compromise me doing what I love and loving what I do. But when it comes down to, compromising what I have for dinner, compromising, I'm not sold on I care more about the people than where I'm living. My house is not more important than my wife. The street I live on is not more important than my future wife. Like, that's how I look at life. So I think I compromise where I can. Like, yeah, be open-minded about where you live and this, that, and whatever. But who I spend my time with, why I do what I do, what pushes me to be who I am, everything that makes you who you are at your core, the people that love you will never ask you to compromise who Prince is. And who I am is doing what I love and loving what I do, and my faith and how I treat people. So you can't compromise that, because if you compromise that, you compromise me. But You think I care what street I live on? You think I care how big my house is? You think like that stuff to me is inconsequential, because at the end of the day, it's about the people and it's about the relationships that you have, and God blessing me with the amazing people I have in my life, like yourself, is what gives me my lifeblood every single day to wake up in the morning and say, I know I'm making a difference. If only Prince is moved by this, if only Jerome is moved by this, if only Joe Smith or Samantha Adams or whoever is moved by this, if only my mother heard this message today, did I do my best? Did I give my all? Is it making a difference? That is who I am. That is what I won't compromise. But the other stuff, the materialistic and all that stuff, it's crazy to me how people will turn things away that are good for them just to stick their feet in cement. And of what point, if I had a son right now and he fell in love with somebody in Florida and he lived in Syracuse and he said, well, Dad, she wants to be there and I want to be here. I'd say, son, picture your life 50 years from now. Do you want her sitting with you? Do you want her at the dinner table with you? If you do, then figure it out. Live in Orlando, live in Syracuse, live in North Carolina. But the question I have for you, son, is if you got what you wanted and you got to stay in Syracuse and she broke up with you and you got your house and you're in your hometown and you're doing all this stuff, but she's not there, is that a good enough life? Or is the good enough life being with her wherever you are, even if you were in a hut, even if you were under a bridge? Those are the questions we have to ask ourselves, because those are the questions that move things. Who do you want to spend your time with? Because we can all get what we want and stand up on a mountain by ourselves. But what good are we going to be in a mountain, in a mansion that's hollow, that we can echo through, that nobody's in? That's my truth.
That's very profound. That is very profound. Oh, man. That's good.
But it's the only truth that I know is, I hear people all the time saying, I want. And I learned to become a person to say, what do we want? If I'm in the car with my mom and we're going to have lunch, I say, Ma, what do you want to eat today? It ain't about me. And listen, I could go to Chick-fil-A 1,000 times a week. I love Chick-fil-A. And so, but what does my mom want today? Does my mom want soup? Do I want salad? Where's a place that has soup and salad? How do we work it out? That's what I don't go on vacation saying, this is where I want to go, and you could either come with me or don't. I'm very clear on my vacations. I'm like, this is what I'm planning to do. If you're going to come down with me, like when I go to Orlando, I go to Disney. And my mom doesn't usually go anymore. So she said to me, she got mad. She's like, when we went down to Florida, you went to Disney. I said, yeah, that's what I told you that weeks in advance, that's what I do when I go down there. So my compromise was, I'll buy you a ticket. I'll get you a wheelchair. I'll bring you there. But what I ended up compromising was, she didn't want to go to Disney. I did. So what did I do? For an early Mother's Day, I brought her to a Disney restaurant on the roof of the Contemporary where she could see the castle, not have to pay for a ticket, not have to walk around the park. But I got to go to Disney and she got to have a nice meal that dedicated my appreciation and love for her as her son. You find ways.
And you know what?
Sorry, go ahead.
That is amazing. No, yeah, that was amazing. And honestly, it really just takes a thoughtful person. Because you got to continuously to think outside of yourself. If you're always thinking, self, you won't be thinking like that. So it does, and it becomes a habit. You have to make an effort to do so. And it has to be something you want to do. Your will to do it. Thought, feeling, and will. Get the thought, feeling, and will you do it? That those are the three things that actually get you to doing whatever needs to be done. So it is tough for people because, it's kind of how society is constructed. A lot of things, people are just, they're screaming for independence, and I think they're getting it kind of, misconstrued when they're, I'm independent, but that doesn't mean that you're just only thinking for self. Independent only means that you're handling what you need to do for yourself. You're doing it by yourself, but you still need to think in a more of a construction? What is a society where we're thinking about everybody else, basically. So that's how we want to see it, because like I said, we all need each other, no matter how you look at it. We all need each other to make life better for one another. So it won't just be you worrying about stuff. You have to think outside of yourself. And honestly, it took me a long time, and I still have my struggles. You know, being in a relationship had me more thoughtful about it. Watching my parents getting a little older, where they can't do as much as they can't used to, makes me think about it more often. You know, it's just like, all right, what did my people's eat? What my dad eat today? What did my mom, you know, something like that, because it's just like they're not able to move like how they used to move, but you are able to. So you have to be that for people. And it, like I would go back to even say, it's like a duty. It is a duty to your duty to man, your duty to one another. You know, this, you know. So yeah, man, I'm that was a great compromise, and that worked out perfectly for both of you.
But I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, it's about finding a way to hear somebody and make them. Because listen, I mean, Prince, you know, and I know, I've been good at stuff and bad at stuff. You've been good at stuff and bad at stuff. I've been in relationships where, you know, somebody compromised so much and I didn't compromise anything. And in my head, I was thinking, I got to do this. I got to be here. I got to have this, this, and this. And I want them to be here, so they need to do it. And you know what? I saw the repercussions of that. I saw the fact that I got everything I wanted, but this person wanted just very few things. They didn't get it. And, you know, so you have to be cognizant of that. Like, yeah, I want my studio to be like this, and I want to be able to cover this team and travel to this place and do this, that, and whatever. But there were points in my life where I didn't even ask the question, is this good for you? Does this compromise well? Does this make sense? I just did it because I was thinking about myself, my future, my success. And it helped me be successful, but it also distanced me from what I had.
Yeah. Those questions are powerful, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as you said the questions again, I just thought about it deeply. I was like, yo, if people really just, while they're doing something, anything that they're doing, if they really ask themselves these questions, like they'll be able to keep themselves out of a lot of different things. Is this good for me? Will this get me where I need to be? If you can answer those questions right on the spot, whether it's a yes or a no, that's gonna help you through a lot, or deter you from exactly what you want to do. You don't know, but at the same time, those questions are imperative. You gotta ask them.
Yeah, you have to, you know, it's the balance. I believe you can have a career and have a great love. I believe you can love what you do and you can love who you're with, but you have to find someone who loves you for who you are and what you do, and you love them for who they are and what they do, and then you have to balance that out. You know, I have realized that in the world of love, that people didn't understand what I did, and they didn't know why I had to do it. So they really didn't love me. You know what I realized, and this is going to get deep, they really didn't love me because they didn't know why I did what I did, and they don't know why I broadcast, why I do these things, why I talk about certain stuff on the show. They didn't understand why I work harder for myself than I did for anybody else, why I make myself work 16 hours when my old bosses made me work 3. So they didn't get it. They didn't understand why. They didn't understand my why, which eventually led to the end of the relationship because they didn't know who I was. So they said they supported me, but how could you support something that you don't know, you don't understand? And the fiber of my being is helping people, bringing God to people, making people laugh, making their lives better, whether I'm doing an impression or stand up or talking about God or talking about sports or whatever I'm doing. You know me well enough to know that there's a Dan Tortora factor. There's a way that no matter how I'm doing it, I'm always doing it for the same reason. And if somebody doesn't know who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, they can't possibly love you and support you if they don't understand your vision for life.
Right. And you know what's so crazy that you say that even is just that, like, is it even for people to understand? You know, even though if they want to come, like I said, I get what you're saying and where you're coming from, but some people, even if you told them your why, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
They don't get they can't relate to that. You know, even though you told them your love for it, they hear you. Okay. And that's where, you know, it gets all twisted up. You know,
does that even matter for you? No, they don't understand my why. They're not for me. I need to just put in my work. And because this is the one thing, this kind of goes back. It's just like in certain instances, you can't think outside of yourself. In certain instances, you have to think for yourself. You be like, they don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. But you know what? It's not for them to understand. I'm just going to do what I need to do because I know exactly the plan that I was given. They didn't get that same script, that manuscript that God put in my face. They didn't give that. They didn't give that to them. And there's a reason for that. They shouldn't even need to know about it. They should only see it through your works. And then you'll talk about it just like how we're talking about it now. It's like, now you know. But you wouldn't have been able to understand then. So I'm in total agree. I get you, man. It's a lot.
I think it's just fine. I mean, it's about finding people that can meet you halfway. My friends are all over the country. You guys are, I mean, you're all over the country. And if I had it my way, you'd all be in my backyard and we'd see each other every day. But because of your visions and your missions and the things you want to do, I won't stand in the way of that, but I support it and I know it and I want to see everybody succeed. And, that's the thing is like you have to, life can get really complicated, but when you break it down to grassroots, so I got asked the question what I wanted in my life. I got asked that question this week. They said, what do you want? And I realized there's only 3 things that I want besides like normal health and safety and all of that. There's only 3 things that I want that to me would lead to a really happy life, a fruitful life. I want to always do what I love and love what I do. I don't want to do it for the money. I want to do it because I love it, because I was told a long time ago, if you chase your dreams, money chases you. If you chase money, you'll chase it forever. So I'm a firm believer that there's 3 things that I want, just 3, besides normal health and all that. I want to do what I love and love what I do. I want to have a woman that loves me as feverishly and as amazing as I love her. And I want to be a dad. That's it.
Indeed.
That's it.
That's it.
There's no, you don't hear me talking about my house color and where it's got to be and how big it's got to be. You don't hear me talking about beaches and vacations and cars and this, that, whatever, because none of that stuff matters to me. What matters to me is that I get that kiss when I come home. I got those kids on my lap and I'm doing that job that makes me feel like I can help save somebody's life down the road. That's it.
Yes, indeed. And as simple as it is, that's all you really need. Everything else is icing on the cake. That's all it is.
Coming from my guy, Prince-Tyson Gulley. Prince, final piece of check down. I'm going to let you ask me a couple questions here. We're going to go back and forth. I'll give you 2. You'll give me 2. We played rapid fire before. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Let's see. What happened to action? What would be your favorite thing if you could just do anything that you want to do? What would be your favorite thing to do with the person that you love? Is that a double question? That's one question. What would you do with the person that you love? What would you want to do if you could do anything with the person that you love? What would y'all do? Or you can't get that to me, can you? Because that's a secret for the person that you love, right?
No, I can tell you, I can answer this the way I want to.
Okay.
So I would tell you, for her to take my hand, look me in the eye, kiss me, and say, "I trust you. I got your back. I know you have mine. Let's do this together." That's it.
That's deep. I like it. That's deep.
All right. I'm going to ask you one.
Okay.
We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
My question to you is, what is the greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
I was going through some tough times, and I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and my graduate advisor he told me a real short but a very effective quote. He's told me that in life, it never gets easier. You just get better. So at a time that I really needed to hear that because it was just too hard at that time. I just feel like, boom. But it clicked for me because as you go through life, obviously you'll figure out that it only gets harder, but it's how you prepare and how you're ready for certain things that come your way. Like when adversity comes, how you're able to dust it right off. So that stuck with me. It was the most important thing because I still think about it every time. Every time I'm going through something, just like this is just part of it, you know. You've seen so much. So yeah, like, his name is DC. Very, very, very positive man. Very prolific figure in the Syracuse community too. Derek Carr is a very good guy.
I love that. Life doesn't get easier. You just get better. I like that. That's awesome.
It was simple and easy, but it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. I'm going to take that with me. What's your last one for me?
Let me see. I did think, did I actually just refer? No. So if you could go any place internationally, where's the first stop?
Probably Italy. To see my family.
Italy.
Yeah, I want to see
Italy. Now, what part is that? What part is that?
My family is my mom's family's in Calabria. My dad's family's in Naples, both in the southern part of Italy. And then I think some of them moved to Rome. So when we're in natural sunlight for a long period of time, we are very darkish people because we come from the bottom of Italy. So I would like to get back to my normal skin color, and I'd like to go eat pizza with my family. So I'd like to do that. My last one for you is, if you could lyrically work with anybody in a studio on music, who would be the first person that you would lay down a track with?
Lyrically. We're talking lyrics. You know, it's so crazy. This is an interesting one, but I would really like to, lyrically, and this is more about lyrics and flow, delivery, all in one, you know, the whole thing. So yeah, I would want to get into the booth with Method Man.
Okay.
Method Man.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Why Method Man? I think that's a great pull back from the past, but why Method?
You know what's so crazy? I've always just liked how he come off on tracks and how he spit, his flow, his rhythm, and everything. I ain't gonna lie, how I rap and how I do what I do. I feel like, as far as the nature of old school hip hop and everything, I feel like me and him on the track would be so nasty, going back and forth, just because he's so fluent with it and it's so catchy. And then I don't know, it's just like how, you know, how old his hip hop was back. It was fresh. It was crazy. And it would be Method Man, because he still got it to this day, you know. So yeah, Method Man, I would like to be on the track with him.
All right, I like it.
He got great lyrics too, yeah, but it's everything as far as how he presents himself on a track with me.
No, and I like that. I can roll with that because I can appreciate and respect Method Man for what he did back in the day and what he continues to, you know, hopefully get to do. We got to see if we can't make that happen someday, get in the studio and get Method Man with Mr. PTG. And I'll help out.
Shout me out, Method. Shout me out.
Yeah. I'll do a hook on that. I'll put some music together for that. I ain't got no problem with that. So
let's do it.
Yeah. I'd be feeling, if I was in a studio with you and Method Man, I would be all right. So I could feel that for real. I'd be taping that the music video would just be like the video of us putting it together, laughing and joking around, and I could see it in my head. And if you could see it, you could believe it. If you could believe it, you could do it. So Method Man, wherever you are, understand you got two people ready to get in the studio with you. I want to lay down a new track.
I'm always ready.
And coming from Prince-Tyson Gulley, myself, Dan Tortora, this is called Check Down, and it is a new series that you're going to see inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in these Cafe Kubal studios. Mr. Prince-Tyson Gulley, as always, I appreciate it, and I'm very much looking forward to you being a mainstay and having a nice little plot of land here on Wake Up Call to spend some time to do some cool things instead of having you every once in a while, to be able to have Check Down with us so that we can really dig into a lot of things about life and hopefully help some people out.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I appreciate you.
My good people, what is going on? What a segment, what a beat, what a check down we had to start off this inaugural week of Check Down. Every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll be getting Check Down with DT and PTG, myself, Dan Tortora, and Syracuse Orange football alum Prince-Tyson Gulley, hailing from Akron, Ohio. What a segment, what a good time, and we have barely scratched the surface. We're just getting started. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. When we come back, we'll get you set for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, and we'll be starting a new video. So for those of you on here, on Facebook Live and on YouTube, please understand a new video will be coming your way very shortly. So we'll keep you on this video, get you set for the next one. Plenty coming up where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora right after this.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery, or catering, call us at 315-622-5100. When you order online and use our promo code AVS10, you will save 10% on your online purchase at myavicolis.com. And make sure to join us monthly for our live on-site broadcasts centered around Liverpool athletics. Avicoli's, your local, trusted neighbor right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpassnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you find your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They offer you so many different opportunities to connect with them because they have their drive-through window where you could just grab your food and go. They also have their indoor dining restaurant and their general store selling local products from local companies around our community. So paying it forward, helping out the community in every which way that they do with their ingredients and their ideas, their recipes, all the great things they do, and going one step further by helping out other local companies by selling the maple syrup here in our community, to the honey, to different things for kids, and scarves and different clothing pieces and jewelry and whatnot. It's such a beautiful place. It's like going to a little mini farmer's market while going to a restaurant, while being able to pick your food up and grab and go if you're in a hurry. So the Millhouse Market, making it easy, simple, safe, and awesome as always to drive out to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Absolutely, positively worth the drive every time. And I put my money where my mouth is, and I've been driving out there plenty of times, and including all through the pandemic. So I want to thank them for everything they did to keep us safe and to give us the food that we love, and truly appreciate all that they do out at Millhouse Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being said, for those of you watching this video on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT and on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, we're actually going to end this video and start a new one. As you know, every single week when it comes to fantasy football, we always have a separate fantasy football video so that you can get to our archives, because fantasy football here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is such a huge piece of what we do, and it's something we've done for years, and we run our leagues at the Wildcat Sports Pub. We want to make sure that you get to the information easily and that you can pull up these videos quickly. So we'll be ending this video and starting a new one. So for those of you that are looking to continue with us here on Facebook and YouTube, which we hope you are, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, please stay with us here on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, as a new video will be coming to you in just a second. With that being stated, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. Happy to be here hanging out with you and having some fun where sports meets that thing called life. So appreciate you being here with us. Mike Sofka is going to be joining me in just a second here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're going to be talking about fantasy running backs and taking a look at the situations around the nation as we get set for the 2021-2022 fantasy football season. Hard to believe that we're already there, but we are, and we're inching ever closer. This is, for Mike and I, this is an every week, every day thing. We love fantasy football. We love getting you excited about it. We love getting you ready for it. So it means a lot to us. So we're going to be taking a look at fantasy running backs around the NFL, and this is going to be we're going to start in the AFC. So we're going to be looking at this here. So fantasy running backs around the NFL in prep for the 2021 season. So we're excited to be able to bring this to you. We're happy that you're here with us in the Fantasy Football Power Hour. I want to take some time here to remind you that the Fantasy Football Power Hour is proudly presented to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub. The Wildcat comes to you on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. You can also get in touch with them for takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222. And we're focusing this week on starting the discussion on fantasy running backs from around the country, and looking around the NFL. It's important to know those backfields and who is there, who's in them, who's comprising them, because we know the usual suspects. We know the names that people are going to draft. How you win your fantasy football league is knowing the names that people don't know, knowing the names that they may not think to draft, knowing the people that may be the backup or maybe somebody